All right, people, good afternoon. Pro football focus time. We've got another week of pro football focus data to digest. This video, we're going to do the offense. We'll do another video later today, probably to do the defense. And by the end of this, we'll have a better understanding of how the offense was on Saturday. Or maybe we'll just have a greater understanding of the fact that we don't know what pro football focus is doing sometimes. I don't know. But I'll say it again, Pro Football Focus grades, maybe. It's interesting. I can take it or leave it. Pro Football Focus objective stats, though, very useful. So keep that in mind. And right away, we get a very welcome sight at the top of the offensive grade list. Ray Zabel is #1 by far. And this is a guy who's been punished all year long by Pro Football Focus. PFF has been very, very unkind to Zabel. And just out of nowhere here, 93.4. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips. And of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today. Get to it and go have some fun with sports this year. The guy had a penalty, by the way, and the penalty was kind of thin. I understand Pro Football Focus might be considering that, but get a 93.4 when you commit a penalty is kind of insane. So he did something very right yesterday, and it's no coincidence we ran the ball really well. Ken Walker, second place, makes sense. He was our best offensive producer, over 100 yards from scrimmage easily, was good on screen passes, also did great work as just a running back. Can't ask for much more from Ken Walker. I'm surprised this grade isn't a little bit higher. Maybe there's one or two plays they saw where he didn't get all the yards that were there, maybe. JSN, way up here as well. Cooper Kupp, the two catches he made, both of them converted third down. So, I mean, that's what he's here to do. If he does that, nobody's going to have anything to criticize. 75.6. Run blocking grade was a big part of that. And that's where he can get some value. Cooper Kupp is never going to catch 100 balls in this offense. He was never going to be that kind of guy. He's not even going to catch 80 or anything like that. That just was never going to happen. But the run blocking stuff, really nice to have. Josh Jones, good game by him. Although I will say the Pro Football Focus statistics don't totally back this grade up. We'll get to that later. But they thought that he did a solid job. And look, I miss Charles Cross. I think Charles Cross is a better player. I want him out there. But Josh Jones has been pretty good, pretty workable. And we've been able to get through these games without Charles Cross, which before the season started, I would not have had confidence that we would have been able to do that. Sundell, who's actually been graded really well lately. He's on a little bit of a hot streak here. Another really good game for him. Big part of the reason why this team was able to run the ball really well is because Sundell is playing better. Tariq Young, only 8 snaps, but he got graded well in run blocking, which, I mean, it's all connected, right? Charbonnet, his pass block grade kind of drug him down a little bit. I know people are probably wondering why isn't this higher? He scored our only touchdown. He had almost 100 yards. He was really effective, and he was. But I think that pass blocking grade, and we'll talk more about that later, definitely hurt him significantly. But it's definitely one of those things where even beyond that, like I think about that play at the goal line right at the end of the game where it really felt like he had an easy touchdown there and was a little tentative and didn't get into the end zone and set up the missed field goal from Jason Myers that didn't matter. But it was a weird play by him because usually he's very good at that kind of stuff. Eric Saubert, well graded, caught a third down pass and continues to be a relatively effective blocker. Abe Lucas, We'll talk more about him later. They liked his run blocking more than his pass blocking, which is kind of rare. But Abe Lucas actually kind of got pushed around in pass protection in this game, and PFF does think that, even though they graded him out okay. Robbie Oots, 62.5. Probably the most impactful game I've seen Oots have as a Seahawk. And if he's starting to figure this out, that's great because it's just in time. And I do believe this offense wants to use a fullback. Oots has not been reliable enough to put out there a lot. Darnold, just kind of treading water, not much to say. Played fine in that game by my estimation. I think the grade is fair because he didn't do anything to push the ball down the field. And at some point, if you want to be recognized as a really good quarterback, you got to actually make things happen down the field. But effective game, and the kind of game that this team needs from the quarterback to win in the playoffs. Mari Kite only played 2 snaps. Brady Russell, 4 snaps. I think it was all garbage time as well. Anthony Bradford kept his head above water. The pass protection was a little bit ugly, but not terrible, right? And we're already at the bottom of the list here. Like, A.J. Barner committed 2 penalties in this game, which is why his PFF grade is sub 60, but it's still not that bad. Cam Akers played 1 snap. The only 2 guys that are graded really poorly in this game are Shaheed and Bobo. And Bobo played 9 snaps. Like, who cares? It was one play, the really, really bad rep he had blocking for K9 that probably drug his grade all the way down. And Shaheed just didn't produce, so it is what it is. There weren't that many opportunities for Shaheed to produce. But this is why I say what I say. Like, the offense played really well on Saturday. We just didn't score a lot of points. Like, you go through this list, and obviously I don't know how much you trust PFF grading. Some people don't. But you've got 3 players that are below 58, and one of them played 1 snap, and one of them played 9 snaps. So people are doing their job offensively, man. Like, this represents an offense that is really just out there putting the nose to the grindstone and finding ways to get at least decent play out of almost everybody. And to me, that represents the good game that we played offensively, even if it only resulted in 13 points. All right, some passing grade stuff from Darnold. To be perfectly honest, kind of forgettable. 0 big-time throws, but 0 turnover-worthy plays. Average depth of target, 5.3. I think this is just the offense now. Ever since this team got Shaheed and ever since that first Rams game, Seattle doesn't want to push it down the field very much. They don't want to take chances. They just feel like their defense is so good, they're always going to win unless the quarterback throws the game away, so they're not letting him throw it away. And it's not very fun. I'm definitely missing some of the big plays we had earlier in the season. I'm definitely sitting here wondering if there might come a moment where we need a big throw or a big play or 2 from our quarterback, and I hope that he's able to provide it. But for the most part, I think this is the Seahawks offense. It's going to be kind of boring. It's going to be simple, but it's going to mitigate variance, and it's going to be enough to win the game because they have the best defense in football. And I respect it, but I can understand why some people are annoyed by it. By the way, I'm doing this because I'm trying to make sure my microphone's volume is acceptably loud. I think it is. Still messing around with the new microphone a little bit, guys. I think you guys can understand, really trying to get this perfect since I've got the new setup. But anyway, if you look at the passing chart, I mean, that tells the whole story. He took 1 shot downfield the whole game. It was the end zone shot to JSN, and he shouldn't have taken it. Like, that was right into the cover 2 of the Niners. That was right into double coverage, closer to a pick than a touchdown, and there was no need for it. He almost gave away a field goal opportunity. This is the way teams are playing the Seahawks, and it seems like the best way to counter it is to just chill, run the ball, check it down, throw it short, keep moving the chains, and hope things work out. And you can see how efficient and effective we were in the intermediate area, 5 out of 6. the short area, we were what, 10 out of 12 or 9 out of 12. And then behind the line of scrimmage, we were actually really productive here, 6 out of 6 for over 50 yards. That's really good. That's really encouraging. So I look at this and I think to myself, this is just the offense now, and it's not very fun, but we can win. Clearly, we've been doing nothing but win for quite a few games in a row now. And let me offer this up to anybody who misses the old offense. At least we know that in theory, if we ever have to go back to that offense, we can do it because we've seen it before. Now, I think the only way that it happens would be if opposing teams start crowding the box again to take away the run and trying to take away the short passes, which they've been unwilling to do for a while now. But if the opportunities are there, we know Darnold can take them because we saw it earlier this year. Receiving grade stuff, the thing I like to look at here is just slot versus wide for JSN, and kind of an interesting twist this week. JSN lined up in the slot a lot, which has not been the typical usage this year. He lined up in the slot 12 times, which is more than anyone else. Cooper Kupp was 8. And actually, if you look at the percentages, you can see Cooper Kupp lined up wide at a higher percentage than JSN. Very rare, very interesting. I'd be interested to know what their thought process was there. But after a year where JSN has become almost exclusively a wideout, he did get a lot of work in the slot in this game. And I mean, he was reasonably productive. He wasn't hugely productive or anything like that, but it is notable. And I do wonder how we're going to deploy him in the playoffs. And I wonder if there might be some kind of a plan here to pull out all the slot stuff again once we get into the postseason. Time will tell. But it did jump out to me that JSN played so much in the slot. Receiving versus coverage, you can see that JSN mostly was targeted against Renardo Green. By the way, some people were asking about Lenore. JSN almost never matches up with Lenore. I think JSN versus Lenore happened like 4 times all season. So, and I mean 4 snaps, not 4 targets. So it doesn't happen very much. But you can also see targeted against D. Winters, Tatum Bethune, Garrett Wallow. These are linebackers. That's the kind of stuff I like to see. Get your targets in against linebackers. Those guys cannot cover you. When that happens, it's a big mismatch, and you can see twice it went for a big play. It's easy as that. JSN also did good work against Green, so that was good as well, but like, you keep hitting those plays against linebackers like Winters and Bethune, you're gonna have a pretty good day for JSN. Rushing direction, and this one's going to be interesting today because of how much we ran the ball and how well we did. You've got left end, 4 attempts, 11 yards per attempt. Really, really good. Left guard, 5 attempts, 30 yards. Middle left, 2 attempts, 15 yards. Right guard, 3 attempts, 12 yards. Right end, 8 attempts, 57 yards. So many productive gaps. So encouraging. There were some bad ones, but they were mostly the ones we didn't use as much, right? Like left tackle, we tried one time, no gain. There were some tackles for no gain out there for sure. The Niners were playing very aggressively against the run, and when they guessed right, they were able to really get us, but you saw that it was worth it because we were able to bust really good runs when they guessed wrong, and they did guess wrong a lot. Middle right was kind of the one area where we really had trouble. So that would be the gap between Sundell and Bradford. Couldn't get anything going there. Off right tackle with Lucas and the tight end on that side. Not good. -2 yards on 4 attempts. But look at how many areas this team was hitting it. Like, look how good they were running to the outside. Remember, this is the Kubiak dream, right? He wants that outside zone game to work. And in this game, when we ran outside zone, 12 attempts outside the left end or right end for over 100 yards, averaging, over 8 yards a carry? Stuff's crazy, man. And obviously some of it comes on big plays, but it doesn't matter. Like, however you can get your yards, it's gonna work out. And this, I know the Niners do not have a good run defense, and I know that the Niners are going to offer less resistance against the run than pretty much any other team we're going to play in the playoffs, but I think we are getting finally where we really want to be. Pass protection, really kind of an interesting slate here. Okay, so you can see that most guys were graded well, or at least respectably well. We had like 3 guys at the bottom here who were graded poorly. So Sundell, excuse me, clean. Zabel, clean. Barner, clean. Only 3 attempts. Robbie Oots, only 1 attempt, but clean. And then Josh Jones gets a good grade, even though statistically he got beat up. He allowed a sack and he allowed 3 hurries. So that's 4 pressures. So numerically, not a good game, but they thought he played well in terms of his actual individual effort. So read into that as you will. Amari Kite, 1 attempt, clean, I guess. Kenneth Walker, 1 attempt, clean, sure. Saubert, 5 reps, clean. So a lot of clean, but then you get to Abe Lucas and 6 pressures allowed. Now, in fairness, a lot of those pressures, Darnold was easily able to move away from, and he was easily able to find a lane to move up to and a throw to make. So it's not like it was a big problem, but it did seem like Lucas was getting beat up a little bit in that game in the run as well as the pass to me. And this number does kind of reflect that, right? Like 6 pressures allowed in 32 reps is rough. Now, the grade is not terrible, but it's definitely not good. So read into it as you will. Bradford, rough game for him. Remember, right guard. You're going up against some really substandard Niners players in that interior. 3 hurries allowed. So that's also very bad. It is what it is with Bradford. You don't know what you're going to get from week to week. It seems very random. The only thing that you know about Bradford, it feels like, is that his highlights are going to be very good, and then his lowlights are going to be really ugly. Charbonnet, by the way, had the worst pass blocking grade by far, even though numerically he was clean. He only had 2 attempts, so he must have done something really bad on one of those reps, and it just didn't result in a pressure. So read into that as you will, I guess. I don't really know what to say about it. I'd have to go back and look at the rep. I guess it was actually 3 reps. But for whatever reason, they thought he did something really, really bad on those reps. Okay, so run blocking, again, I'm not really interested in the grade. I'm interested in the zone versus gap split. More than 2-1 in favor of zone. So we hit the zone running game hard, and it worked very well. And that makes sense, right? Look at Gray Zabel up here. He's a zone blocking offensive lineman. Same with a guy like Sundell. All right, so that's it for Pro Football Focus offensively. We're going to do the defense later. Everyone have a good rest of your day. Go Hawks.